Hey you guys, this is Digital Learning Reading Day 2, Tuesday, March the 17th. I wanted to do something a little bit different today and wanted to work our way through together through today's reading lesson. So let's go ahead and begin. You will need the Amelia Earhart and Charles Lindbergh reading passage. That can also be found on your Google Classroom where you found this PowerPoint. I keep it up as a tab up here at the top, but it will look like this. This is what we're going to be using for our mini lesson today. So make sure you have that handy, print it out, extra tab, so you can go back and refer to it. All right, let's go back to the presentation. I want to remind you that when you are studying narrative nonfiction text, there can be an underlining structure to the text. And when I talk about structure, I mean how the author sets up their writing to give you the information. So for a moment, think about one way that nonfiction text might be structured. For example, I'm thinking of question and answer. We've kind of talked about some of these text structures at the beginning of the year, so I'll give you a moment to think about some. So did you also think about chronological order, also known as sequence, or what about cause and effect? Problem solution and compare and contrast are also different types of text structures that we've studied. Here's an anchor chart I found that I thought you might find useful. We don't really talk about description, but when authors are using the text structure of description, they're mostly using like different features, giving you plenty of examples, describing the information. Their sequence, using those signal words like first, next, then, last, before, after. Compare and contrast, what is alike and what is different. Cause and effect, when something makes sense else, or when something makes something else happen. Problem and solution, when there's a problem and then you find a way to fix it. When readers tackle questions about part of a narrative nonfiction text or how parts connect, sometimes those questions are asking about the underlining structure of those parts. It is helpful for readers to recall common structures and look for those inside the text. So let's talk about what I mean. So look at your passage about Amelia Earhart. She was a famous pilot who has accomplished many important milestones in flight. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to read the short passage, and then you'll go to this next slide for your timer. So here we go. I'm going to start it. You have 3 minutes and go. Two minutes left. One minute left. and time. Alright. I also want to remind you that how we do in class, when we have more time than what we need, it's always a good time to reread to really make sure that we're understanding the passage, to write notes. Remember we talked about like writing passages should never look crisp and clean, circling those repeated words, writing down maybe connections that you've made, maybe writing down your background knowledge that you can apply with the new knowledge. So use that extra time wisely. Alright, so now that you've read the passage, let's take a look at a question that asks us to think about the structure in this text. Remember that when a question asks about a structure, it will help to think about what we know about the text structure. So here's the question. What is the best way to describe how the author has organized the information in paragraph 1? A, comparison. B, cause and effect. C, chronological. D, contrast. So this question is asking us to consider how the first paragraph is organized or structured. So go back and reread paragraph 1, and let's think about which of these text structures seem to be the best choice to describe how the author organized information in this paragraph. So here's the first paragraph. Amelia Earhart was born in 1898 in Kansas. She was a good student. However, she left college at the age of 19. Soon afterward, Earhart went to an air show in Long Beach, California. It was there she took her first airplane ride. It changed her life forever. She started taking flying lessons. Earhart spent the next couple of years learning all about flying. She even bought her own plane. So let's think about each of these choices. I am sure that this is not a comparison because nothing in this paragraph is being compared to something else. It also is not a contrast because nothing is being shown as different. However, I am stuck between cause and effect and chronological. Choice C is pretty tempting. The whole article is really chronological. It goes in order from when Earhart was born to when she took off to fly around the world. But, looking back at the question, it's not asking about the overall structure for the entire article. It's only asking me about paragraph 1. Let's think about what this paragraph is mostly about. There's a little bit about her early life, and then the whole read of the paragraph is about how she took her first airplane ride, and it changed her life, and it made her start flying lessons and buy her own plane. See if you agree with me. I think this paragraph is mostly organized by cause and effect. We learn about Amelia Earhart and took her first flight. This is the cause. And then it inspired her to change her life, and she became a pilot. This is the effect. And that led to everything else she accomplished in her flight. So, paragraph 1 is organized to show cause and effect. Choice B. So now it's your turn to give it a try. You're going to read another text about another pilot, Charles Lindbergh, the first person to fly non-stop across the Atlantic Ocean. When I go to the next slide, you'll have 3 minutes to read it. Again, if you use your 3 minutes and you're done before the timer goes off, use it to underline specific information, jot down some notes on the side, or circle those repeated words because you never know what your question is going to ask you. So here we go. Your timer starts now. Two more minutes. One more minute. Alright, time is up. Which of the following best describes the order of events in this text? A. The article starts by discussing Lindenberg's childhood and then moves to discussing his adulthood. B. The article starts with Lindenberg's death and then flashes back to his early life. C. The article starts with naming one of Lindenberg's major accomplishments and then moves back to discussing his early life and what led to his accomplishments. D. The article describes all of the events of Lindenberg's life in order until he's a teenager. Give you a few moments to think about that. The best choice is C. The article begins by telling us what Lindenberg did in 1972 when he flew nonstop across the Atlantic Ocean, and then the next paragraph jumps back to his early life when he was born, when he went to college, and discussed key events in his life that led up to him making his big flight in 1927. So give yourself a pat on the back if you pick choice C. So remember that the work of thinking about text structure can be helpful. Keeping in mind what you know about text structures can help you answer questions that ask about text structure. And also it can help you notice when a whole text or a part of a text has been structured in a key way. Then you can think about why the author did that, and often that kind of thinking will lead you to getting what is most important in the text. So for today's daily task, you have three options. You can click the link below. It ClassWorks. It's just going through a text structure lesson. It's got a mini lesson. It's got some questions you can answer using signal words. You can use that. Or you can read a nonfiction text that you can use the leveled readers or a book at home and use one of the graphic organizers to show what text structure is being used. These are on Google Classroom. Or you can read the article Frogs at Risk passage and answer the questions. You can type your answers on a Google Doc or answer them on a piece of notebook paper. Again, you do not have to do all three. You get to choose which one you would like to do. So let me exit out of here and let me show you what that looks like. So when you opened this on your Google Classroom, there should have been, when you scroll down here to reading, there should have been like yesterday's where there's different other materials. You will find this